Welcome, Spartans, to Podcast Evolved, part of Evolved, your home for Halo. Podcast Evolved hosts original lore series and recaps the latest monthly Halo news. I am your host, Aaron, and with me today we've got David.
Hello, everybody. I'm back. Woo, Halo.
Yep, everyone's back. We are here. Well, I say everyone's back. It's just us, but we're the important people, so that's all that matters.
Exactly.
We are here to talk about Halo news. We are going to chat about all of March's news and half of April's, because we are behind schedule on podcasts because people took holidays and went travelling. Isn't that right, David?
That is right, my friend. It had to happen sooner or later. But that's probably all of my holidays for the year now gone. So I'm done.
Well, at least if they're all gone, you did it in style. That's a lot to be said for that.
That's true. That's true.
So, yeah, we are both back and trying to get into the podcast groove. So a little news episode will get things started. As you may notice, this episode will be titled 299.5 because we're not ready to do an episode 300. That will come later. So save yourselves for episode 300. This will be like the last time. Was it episode 200 we were coming up to, and we ended up with a 299.1, 0.2, 0.3, or a 199?
Definitely done this before.
We had 6 episodes.
Yeah.
We had 6 episodes before we got to 200.
Which means, this is probably something like our 400th episode. Who actually knows what the numbers are? But I don't know.
Yeah, if any listeners want to count every episode in the feed, and just let us know, because we're not going to do it. So if you want to do that, you can drop us a voicemail.
Lovely.
Right. Before we get started, I will do the socials. So, if you're new to the show, welcome. Evolved hosts a variety of shows. This is Podcast Evolved. You can check out our current lore series, Infinite Impressions, and we've also got the Road to Infinite and the Character Dossiers. We also have a variety of other shows. We've got Mission Debrief, which will probably come back at some point if we ever get any more missions, but I don't know how that's looking at the minute. Builds with Blocks, HCS Pro Talk, Halo TV Plus, which will also make a reappearance at some point, Halo Gear Guide, and the Halo Book Clubs, which have a few left. And Halo headlines, but I haven't done any in a while because there's not been much to talk about, so we'll see how that goes. You can find out more about all of our shows on the website, evolvedhalo.com. If you're already a fan, we would like to ask you to take a minute to please leave us a review and a rating on your podcast service of choice. We greatly appreciate it. We would also like to take a minute to thank all of our patrons for your continued support. Your contributions help make everything we do possible. Thank you very much, guys.
Thank you, patrons.
Yes, I've noticed an uptick in new patrons because a couple of people subscribed to get our patron exclusive episode.
Oh, that's cool. That's very cool. I thought we might end up going the opposite way, but that's good.
No, we got a couple of new people. I get the ping from Patreon every so often, see new people in. So we've had a couple of new people sign up so that they could listen to the episodes. Ian has been very good at putting a little teaser out every week for an episode. So if you like the 4-minute sample and you want to hear the rest of it, you can go and do that. I think my episode with Krista and Lucas and Trent on the beach is free to everyone. That's on the main feed. So that's also a quick sample of the sort of things we're talking about. So if you would like to listen to that and more episodes, please go to patreon.com/Halo Evolved, and there you can learn about all of our rewards, including the early access to episodes, unique swag, access to the soundtrack, and access to I Would Have Been Your Podcast. And finally, we would like to encourage all of our listeners to support us with Audible, where they can enjoy a growing collection of Halo novels all in one place, along with thousands of other novels, guided wellness programs, and more. Use the URL audibletrial.com/podcast evolved to learn more and start your free trial today. And as a recommendation for a book, it's an oldie, but I listened to it when I was travelling on holidays. I'm about 2 hours from the end because it's like a 55-hour audiobook or something. But Stephen King's The Stand, well worth a listen to. It's the...
Oh yeah, there's a solid book, man. It's always one of my favourites.
Yep. And it's the full, re-revised extended version that he did. So it's very good, worth a listen to, quite enjoyable. I forgot how, brutal it is in a couple of places, because a few times I've been walking along, listening to it, and then pausing and going, I just need a minute to myself here. But definitely
haven't read it
worth
in
a
years,
shout.
but I love it.
Yeah. Let's see. So, last week on Zeta Hilo, what are we going to talk about? I can talk about myself. it's a stretch to call it Halo related.
Yeah, I put this in for you because I was like, this counts. Because I've got nothing.
That's fair enough. Yeah, I have not fired up Halo in a while, but I was in America, as you've heard from our little episode. So I got to meet Oren, and then I got to meet Kristen Lucas. So that was my big travel around. You can go and listen to the episode. It should be on the feed. We recorded on the beach before we went for dinner. We were down in Gulfport. Trent joined us as well. So I think it comes out at about 15-20 minutes. It was a short recording. We had planned to go a little bit longer, but then the restaurant messaged us and was like, oh, your table's ready. So naturally we bailed.
Oh, nice one.
Yeah. Me and Oren had talked about possibly recording something, but we ended up just going, having food, going to the park, and then heading to a rather noisy bar for a while. So we were out. He was showing me the sights in Brooklyn.
Nice.
Fed me Philly cheesesteak. I got to see a drag queen protest. That was interesting.
Oh.
Yes. Lots of angry people about the drag queens.
Was that people in drag protesting?
No, that was people protesting people in drag. And we were there was also a counter protest of drag queens protesting them, and I was sort of looking across going, you guys are protesting the drag queens, and all of those folks are at least 6'4" and bodybuilders. I think you picked the wrong people to protest. That's just my own thought. Yeah, I had a tour about, looked at a few things, got some ice cream, went for some beers, and then abandoned the bar around the time a wedding party landed in. So I had a good time in New York. Did all the sights, Statue of Liberty, Empire State Building, wandered around Central Park, did all that sort of thing. So good time there. And then down to Lucas. So I met Lucas first, drove down to Tampa. We went for biscuits and gravy. He showed me his tank. That's not a euphemism.
The pictures, he was talking about it on one of the Patreon episodes, the one he did with Ian. Because he was going to depth about like airsoft and stuff that he does. And my brother used to do it years ago, so I'm familiar with it. And my brother mentioned once upon a time that they had a tank. And I remember hearing this and I was like, it's not a tank, whatever. And then I seen the picture that you posted about Lucas's tank. I was like, that's fucking crazy that they use this in games of airsoft. It's awesome.
It's armed as well. The gun on the turret is, I think he said it's a paintball gun, but it's functional. So there are air tanks in the tank and the whole lot. And then he was showing me, because the little tank in question, I think it came from Canada, but it's a British model of little light transport tank, but the turret is manual, so apparently they have an advantage over other people that have tanks, because more than one people have a tank, but theirs are motorized and slower to rotate, so they can spin around quick and spray people.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah, it's the sort of airsoft I did as a teenager, but like on steroids, because I never got anywhere near that fancy. Let's see. From there, Lucas was good enough to drive. We went down to and met Krista and Trent in St. Petersburg. No, it is St. Petersburg, isn't it? I don't know why I suddenly...
Yeah, that's where Krista's from, Petersburg.
Yeah, because I was going like, there's St. Petersburg in Russia. Am I thinking of the wrong thing or something? Like, what? My brain had a moment of doubt there. Let's see, what did we do there? They took me for Taco Bell. We went to Game Shop / Arcade, and they played some Rock Band. We went down to the beach in Gulfport. We went to a brewery. Then we went and we recorded on the beach. Then we had some dinner. And then I had to say bye to everyone. So I had a good day out. They showed me all the sights, gave me a nice selection of American things to do. They took me to a Wawa gas station. And they were like, oh, these are really nice fancy gas stations. You can come in, they cook food and all there and everything else. And I was thinking, like, we never took Krista and Trent when they were here to a filling station for the hot food deli counter because they're missing out. I was like, we have this experience everywhere.
But we have some good ones.
Yeah, we do. Like, although I did get a large Coke Zero from a fountain machine that was, I think, about 1.2 litres in the cup and as big as my head. It was ridiculous.
That's disgusting.
It's an absolutely absurd amount.
Ridiculous.
And
That is ridiculous.
so cheap as well. So I made it back without getting incredibly fat, but I know if I had to live there, it would happen. So it's probably best I don't live in America.
I agree. I'd be the same.
But see, it's half the battle that we know what to expect.
Fair
And
enough.
then
You enjoyed
we
it though. You had a
have-
good trip, I'd say.
Yep, I had a good time. I enjoyed it all. Went to other places as well. Went to Disney, went to the Universal parks, did a bit of water park stuff, went to the Kennedy Space Center, done the like
I'd say that was
slightly...
cool. I'd like to go there.
It was cool. We done the slightly fancier tour, so we got to drive out past like the SpaceX launch pads and all. So
Oh, that's badass. I saw your
Yep.
picture was cool.
yeah, no, got some nice snaps and stuff there and looked around, and like any time you get to go and see the Saturn V rocket's a good day out as far as I'm concerned.
That's cool. That's very cool.
So, and other than that, that's pretty much everything. I think we might record a Patreon episode and chat about our holiday in more details. So, like, possibly expect that in your future if you're a Patreon subscriber.
Sounds like a plan.
Yeah. And it says here you have fuck all Halo to talk about. Would that be accurate?
Fuck. Oh, yeah. I haven't done anything since I bought the Halo encyclopedia, which is still sitting unopened. It's unwrapped, but it's unopened for when we start doing those shows. So I will be ready to rock. That's about it. I've done fuck all. Fuck all Halo.
Yeah, I'm in a similar boat. I haven't been doing much gaming at the minute, and the little bit of free time I have, I am spending trying to catch up on the last couple of episodes of Picard. So that's pretty much it. Will we roll into the news and see what we've missed out on over the last while?
Yes, let's. So I put this together today. There is obviously a crap ton of news. There's always Halo news happening. Whether or not the scale of it is interesting or not is up to you. But like in no particular order, I threw this together based on news articles and our Facebook group and stuff. I may have missed stuff because I only got about halfway through March and April in the Facebook group before I was like, okay, gotta stop, gotta record a show. So I remember, I think even the last show I was on talking about this, but the HCS Charlotte Kickoff Major, that was me and Oren talking about it, that happened. That's the first kind of competition in the 2023 HCS season. So I know Josh and Will were at that event, and you've probably already listened to their show by now. If not, you should go back and listen to their recap. The guys were there. So the defending champions, which is Optic Gaming, won again. They took the crown. This is their third consecutive LAN win. So congratulations to Optic Gaming. Well done, guys. Aaron, I don't think you do the HCS stuff like me.
Not really. It's sort of wasted on me. Like, I can appreciate some people doing impressive like gameplay stuff, but I just have no real interest in competitive Halo that way, or competitive games in general. Like, I haven't come across anything esports that I really want to watch.
Same. Just hard to watch, hard to understand, hard to keep up. And I'm lazy. So, next on the list. So, Season 3 of Halo Infinite is live. You're probably already aware of this. Has been live for a good while now. It's called Echoes Within. There's a whole bunch of new content in the game. It's actually pretty exciting because I remember talking about this before it had come out. So, obviously, we got 3 new maps. There's some new modes. There's a 100 level tier battle pass. There's a whole bunch of narrative focused stuff, which picks up where Season 2 left off. 2 new armor cores. We have the M392 Bandit, which is the first new weapon added into Halo Infinite. And the Shroud Screen, which is a new piece of equipment. So we discussed this before, which is pretty cool. A whole bunch of Forge updates, as you can expect. There's a new Fracture event, and a lot kind of more all happening with Season 3. So it is a busy season, and probably one of the biggest ones we've had in a long time.
I think...
I haven't got a chance to talk to anyone about it. Have you? And you haven't played yourself, but have you heard much about it, Aaron?
I've played a little bit of it because I did play it with the guys. I played a couple of games before we recorded the Forge episode the last time, and we did manage to play one other day. I played a little bit with Lucas as well. So like, it's, I think, better than Season 1 and 2 in terms of I like the slightly more story-focused cutscenes, although they really do annoy me that there's no narrative gameplay, because I've never thought I'd utter the words, I'd really like a Spartan Ops mission to go with this, but I'd kind of like a little... It would be like having Destiny 2 with the cutscenes and then just going into multiplayer and having like no story missions. It would be nice to have something to go with it. But it's more than what we've gotten before, which is nice. Let's see. Not a big fan of the DMR so far. The little bit I've used of it, it's... Without the scope, it's a different weapon, and I don't necessarily know that I like it. But I do also need to play with it.
Is that how it plays like the DMR, does it?
It is the DMR. It's a scopeless DMR, so it's like close to medium range.
Okay, bummer.
But it's close to medium range with single shots. I keep wanting to use it long distance, but it's only got the sort of like the iron sight. So it like the DMR was always the medium to long range rifle, and the BR was the close to medium. And now that you have this like scopeless version, it really, we were talking about it, it kind of like fills the niche that the Halo 5 Magnum was filling. That's really what it's like. It's like a slower version, a slower firing version of the Magnum. But I'm not really a fan of it at the minute. Maybe it'll grow on me, but Shroud Screen's pretty cool. Although the like game type that we were playing the last time was like escalating in waves. I can't remember the name of it off the top of my head. Apologies. Escalation Slayer, that's what it was. And the final level was, you had, on the final like wave, you got the oddball and the shroud screen, but that meant that everyone was launching shroud screens all over the place, and it was kind of chaotic in a way that I wasn't necessarily feeling.
Like the good kind?
I think in that game type, it was a bit too much. In regular gameplay, it's a lot better, because if you're doing like capture the flag or something, you know, drop the shroud screen over the flag, and then like people will assume you're in there, and sometimes they'll run in and you can slip in behind them and kill them, and then other times it like can backfire a wee bit. The only thing that makes me sad about it is it doesn't stick to things. I think there would have been so much more potential if it stuck to targets. So you can't like
stick it on a mongoose and
tag a vehicle or tag another player. Like you would know where that person was going, but you wouldn't be able to see what was happening inside it. But pretty much when you deploy it, it drops to that area on the ground, and that's where the shroud sits. So it deploys there, not like around you. But it's not terrible.
Can it be thrown, or is it just a drop on the ground?
No, it is launchable. Sorry, it's launchable like the radar. Oh, the threat sensor. It basically
the tracker.
It obeys the same sort of principle as that. You shoot it out and tag it, and that's it. But you can't tag it to like another player or a vehicle or anything, or have it move. Wherever it lands and deploys, that's it.
Okay.
So, I had an alright time, but I haven't gone to play any more. So maybe that says something.
Okay. And that's cool. On top of that, there's the new map. So there's Oasis, Chasm, and Cliffhanger. They all look actually pretty interesting in their own kind of way. So if you haven't played them also, like Oasis is a BTB map. Cliffhanger is kind of an asymmetric, kind of like an only black site, the way it's kind of described. And Chasm is an arena map set in a cavernous substructures of Zayla Halo, kind of like what would you get if you got the boarding action from Halo CE, which is a map I liked because it was mental. And grapple shots. So that actually sounds really interesting. I like that idea. Escalation Slayer is a new mode that you already mentioned, which is kind of an interesting... I like the idea, but I don't like the end, the way you described it, like with this oddball and shrouds and stuff like that.
It's a lot of fun as a game type. I just wasn't feeling some of it necessarily, but also, you know, as you're escalating from round to round or from level to level, you're not always getting weapons that you would normally play with. So some bits are more fun than others, and it's just one of those things. It's not terrible.
Fair enough.
I did have a bit of fun, but I was also quite stressed with it, so...
Yeah. Okay. And then there was a Forge features on March 17th. Now, there's been other ones, but this one caught my eye because it had a Zanzibar remake in it called like Zumi Bay. That looks kind of pretty cool. I know you've done some Forge stuff, and I may have missed that episode. Did you cover any of this new stuff, Aaron, that they were hinting at? Does any of it ring a bell?
I don't think that yet. That will probably be in the next episode.
Okay.
It is a few episodes ago. I can look up and see while we're chatting which episode or which maps we did cover, but I don't remember a Zanzibar off the top of my head.
Yeah, you'd know it straight away because the picture of it is the obvious, iconic Zanzibar. That's fair enough. That's okay. I haven't done any Forge stuff yet actually since
the Forge Finds episode
Go on ahead.
let's see, the Forge episode we did had a blood gulch, a Guardians, a map for a mode called Joyriders. There was a map for the fight area from Duel of the Fates.
Oh, that's cool.
We had like a phase shift game type with two identical maps in different like dimensions, and then another game type called Solitude, or the map was Solitude. So it was the Skyrim town Solitude.
Oh, that's really cool.
So we did not cover. Yeah. Oh, the Solitude map was really good, and it was a capture the flag game type. So you had to make your way to the top of Solitude, get the flag, and then run back down to the boat in the harbor.
Oh, that's awesome. I like that.
Yeah. If anyone, by the way, wants to go and look at those, when you go back to it's episode 296. I have links to all of those on Waypoint, so you can click in and then put them to, download to your account, so you can go and have a look at them. And then I think we're going to record another Forge episode next week, so we should have a new haul of stuff, and we will keep an eye out then. I'll get the guys to throw the Zanzibar map into the mix, and we'll have a play in it too.
I like it. I like it a lot. Okay, so there was a canon fodder, which was issue 193, which is Echoes with Din. So Din is obviously just the new character they're using in the Fractured Events, or not the Fractured Events, the seasons. I've Novel series has begun. The Fracture Firewall has kicked off with a new story, Shard. That's called Precipice. So that's there now if you want to take a read of it. And obviously plenty more to do. So the map kind of lores that came out with that. So Oasis is a far-flung moon, lies the remnants of an ancient lifeworker vessel. Its creation engines reawakened and once more vigilantly focused on the task of transforming barren worlds into verdant havens. What knowledge might be gained through the study and observation of the process remains to be seen, but they are nevertheless certain to be fought over. That's kind of cool. Cliffhanger is a clandestine-only black site dedicated to the study and analysis of UNSC findings brought back from Installation 07. So, beginning with the Zeta Halo project of 2555, particular attention has been invested in the attempts to reverse engineer a Forerunner architectural structures, such as the construction and remediation techniques. However, the immense power required to replicate such systems necessitate creative solutions on a grand scale. Interesting. And Chasm. So the underbelly of Zeta Halo holds many whispers. Some are from countless millennia ago, singing unheard siren songs from darkened repositories in lost caverns and chambers, while others lament the circular nature of history and its more contemporary manifestations. But the ring once more sundered and occupied by myriad forces, the somnolescence of these shattered substructures is broken once more by the sound of combat. That's an extremely wordy piece of map lore, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, I'm listening to you there thinking someone got a thesaurus as a present.
Holy shit, didn't they? They went to town on that one. Fucking hell. So, like we mentioned before, the bandit is in there. We know it's there. There's a little small short story on a Sangheili that uses the rifle against like ambushers. It's like 3 or 4 paragraphs. There's nothing to it. Precipice, like I mentioned, it's a 4-part story centered around the new Chimera armor core, and it's also connected to the created in the aftermath. Of course, Cortana has been defeated, while the greater urgency of the created threat has begun to subside with the loss of their leader. Its presence still lingers on throughout the digital framework of civilized space. Now fragmented, individual cells of created aligned artificial intelligence have already begun to once again reframe their place in the galaxy, with some eyes on peace and independence, with others with plans of evolution and ascendancy still fresh in their synthetic. So you'll know who he is, Governor Sloan from Halo 5. With Cortana's piece now removed from the game board, Sloan has set the Firewall contingency into motion, a living simulation meant to leverage intimate knowledge of Forerunner armature technology and Mjolnir armor schematics to accelerate the exploration and development of cybernetic essence vessels. Very interesting. Designed to usher the human mind into its inevitable and digital future, immortal and unfettered. Which kind of sounds like Firewall is an attempt at recreating the composer kind of process where you're taking the human mind and making it digital, which is kind of cool. Which is very, very interesting story beats. Aaron, anything you want to touch on there? This is like some of the most interesting stuff I've read in a long time.
I haven't looked at any of it in great detail. That's terrible to say as the Halo lore people. I need to sit down and have a look. I think I might wait until all that lore comes out because it was easier to digest all in one lump the last season than going week to week.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
So I might do the same with this. I think the thing that caught me with this is that this isn't like an alternate reality fracture event. I know it's a simulation, but this is in universe, so this is actual lore.
In universe simulation.
This is current Halo lore. This isn't.
It's an interesting way to do that.
Yeah, this isn't like the others, which were an alternate dimension and something else. So it's cool to get this. We get a little more created info, which is good because it does feel like they sort of dropped the created thread completely there when it came to
it really
Halo
did.
Infinite.
It really did.
We just heard no more about them.
Yeah, they really did drop off big time.
So, but I will probably get through the fracture at the end and just do the whole lot when we do the impressions episode on it.
Fair enough. They mentioned once more about Halo Alcast, the next novel by Troy Denning that's been delayed. So I think we already knew this delay. So it went from July 25th to August 8th. And that's not a second delay, right? That's the one delay that we knew about already, if my mind is correct.
No, there is a... That is
no,
the
this is
second delay because Outcast got a delay before because I believe, if I am correct, we covered this in a previous news episode. Troy had to go and have some.
He wasn't well.
Yeah, he had some medical procedures and it was put back. So I think this is a second delay, but it's only 2 weeks. Like that doesn't seem like, a 2 week delay isn't
major.
Any work being done to the book. I'd imagine it's some sort of supply issue and they're just behind on like printing books.
It's production.
Or something.
Yeah, they did mention that it's production related.
So I don't think it's anything to be overly worried about.
Agreed. So that's great. We need a new book. We need some new Halo lore. Like we mentioned, so Halo Infinite, the Echoes Within Intel is the new Intel for Season 3. There's 6 pieces in total, 2 of which are available right now if you want to go check them out. They're nice and short. Firewall is the event scheduled for the following dates. So here we go. You've already missed one if you're listening to this episode. Potentially you've missed 2 by the time this episode comes out. So week 1 is March 21st, 28th. Week 2, April 11th to 18th. Week 3, May 23rd to the 30th. And week 4, June 13th to the 20th. The Fracture is rooted in the canonical elements of the Halo universe, like we said, very interesting, giving us a look at the fallout plan devised by High Auxiliary Sloan, the former governor of Meridian, who we met in Halo 5. As one of Cortana's most loyal lieutenants, Sloan devised the Firewall agendum to ensure the long-term future of the Created, the fledgling empire having fractured in the wake of Cortana's sacrifice inside Halo. Fractured again. Sloan's answer to these changes in circumstance is the Executor, who is subjected to a living simulation of the future where man and machine exist as one. Very interesting. So, there's new stuff in the shop. So they're called Skinned Reflexes Bundle. If you're interested in this, it's kind of a cool red kind of color scheme. The armor looks ridiculous. But if you're interested, you're there. So it's an AR, if the Sidekick, a BR, the VK-78 Commando, and the Bulldog all have skins. It's a Chimera core, so there's a whole bunch of stuff there listed for that. Go check it out if you're interested in the store. Multiplayer Mayhem is the new set of Mega is available. This one was fan voted, so it's based on the Halo Infinite multiplayer experience and has new coatings for several favorites: the Neon Superfly Warhog, a Gen 12 Mongoose, Rival Estate Gold, and Neon Superfly Fire Teams, plus 2 all-new weapon accessories. So if you're interested, go check that out. I'm sure the guys over at Build Blogs, our peeps, are going to go check that out too, if they haven't already. Halo is on TikTok if you're interested, but there you go. Ours is better. Lol, I like that, Aaron. Good stuff. If you want to, I did see this and I started watching it. It's a 12-minute video. So Adam Savage, who is obviously of Mythbuster fame, has his own YouTube channel where he delves into like loads of different things. It's very interesting. And he has a video on the Halo Spartan armor that was used in the TV show. So it starts off pretty well. I only got about 3 or 4 minutes in before we start the show, so it's kind of interesting. But it's there if you want to know all about the armor was built and brought to life in the TV show, as well as like Silver Team. It's all about Spartan armor. It's really cool, really interesting. There's some artwork in this blog that's actually from Halo Mythos. It's from the one and only Isaac Hannaford. It's about a group of ODSTs present at the Siege of Voi, so it's the Halo 2 timeline. The conflict, Halo 3, sorry, which is the Prophet of Truth successfully activates the portal on the Ark and departs with his fleet, only for far worse threat to arrive on Earth. So it's a pretty cool piece of art there for you to download and use as you will. This new news, and we're now kind of into April, so I don't know if we talked about it before, Aaron. I didn't put it in here, but blanking on his name, can picture his face.
We would have talked about
came from
Joe
Did we talk about him already? Joe Staten being leaving Microsoft. Yeah,
he bailed in January, so I think we did cover that in the news already.
Cool. I remember he left 343 to go to Microsoft, and now he's leaving Microsoft. It's a pile. It's a pile of stuff going on. So there's another one. So there are rumors that Frankie himself is gone. So this is kind of stuff. So his LinkedIn is updated at the end of April, with the date is time as Halo's creative director. Also updated with an end to his 20 years at Microsoft. So it follows a series of high-profile departures over the last few months. So we have Joe Staten in January, David Berger, who's the lead developer on Slipspace Engine, Bonnie Ross, Nicholas Sparth-Bouvier is the art director, Jerry Hook is the head of design, Andrew Witz is the lead multiplayer designer, and a rumoured 95 redundancies at the studio across all staff, which is kind of a big bummer. 343 getting a big shake-up. So I imagine we're going to see a lot less.
To be fair, now some of those rumours or some of those departures, I think from Sparth on that list, those were all like 2022 people. So that was around the time Joe was sort of in and there was a bit of a clear out. And then since then, there's been a few more. And then the 95 redundancies are part of the big shake-up of the few thousand staff that Microsoft have let go in general. So it seems to be they've lost a lot of manpower. This is part of the rumors and speculation about how campaign stuff has been hit on the head and they're just focusing on the multiplayer because they've lost a lot of those people. So seems to be a continued shake up. The fact that Frankie seems to now be gone, like that's Frankie gone, Joe gone, and it seems like they're gone from Microsoft in general, it gives you, like, I can only speculate, but it seems like someone might be clearing house with senior management.
Or just themselves leaving. They might be just done with it. Do you know what I mean? Infinite didn't land, and they're all just, okay, we're out. We're done.
Yeah, it could be a little both, but like I get the feeling the Bonnie Ross's statement as well that she was leaving for family medical reasons, seemed like also a bit of a timing issue as well. I don't know. I get the feeling, I said this in the Slack when we were talking beforehand, or I might have said it in Discord. If Kiki goes next, I think it's a clear out. Like, it's the last she's the last high profile man standing that we know of.
Yeah, that's true.
So I think if she goes next, because there's been talk, like, no one has really seen or heard from Frank in a while. And the talk was, he's off with Kiki doing the TV show stuff. But, that went its own way as well. There seems to be a lot happening. I get the feeling they might be, like, airing out the studio a bit.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know what to think anymore.
Halo's in a weird place at the minute.
It's all over the shop.
I think that's about it. We've covered like all the big stuff. There is not a lot happening with Halo. As it's in a weird spot. The season 3 stuff is going on, but like a lot of I know for myself, like for us, there's a lot of like just lack of enthusiasm at the minute with it. I think
for sure.
When we get the next book will help, but just at the minute I find it very hard to get too excited about things, and I will have to see what happens with it. But like, I know when I was talking with Krista and Lucas, we were saying that the Patreon episodes have been nice because it's a chance to like just not have to sometimes struggle to find Halo stuff to talk about because of the way things are.
Yeah, it's a good idea. We needed to do something because obviously we're running out and we can only do so much, and it's kind of hard to keep this stuff going. And as you see, there's a lot of other YouTubers gone, a lot of other podcasts are gone when it comes to Halo.
Yeah, like people will have noticed, like there's been times over the years where content on the ground from 343 and Halo has been light, but I feel like it's never been as light as it is now. I feel like we are verging on Gears of War levels of stuff to talk about, and I feel like Gears of War had more stuff to talk about than we have lately. But it's that kind of like franchise level of things to chat about and lore and content, so I do hope it picks up, but judging by the way things are going, we're not going to get story content, so like that's a big chunk of our stuff there. I'd kind of been hoping we were going to get more infinite campaign stuff, and that would like tide us over, and hopefully get regular campaign sort of updates and DLCs.
I mean, how much have we talked about just because of Infinite structure, the way the campaign is done, that we just believed, oh, this was built for DLC. But now with everything being hit, like, not a hope. I think we're pretty sure that there's all campaign DLCs gone. Whatever they're doing next will be whatever Creative Affinity is putting out. They have some kind of new game / mode. I wonder if that's a totally unique experience. I don't know. I think it's almost the next Halo game.
We talked about this. Yeah, we talked about this before an episode, so like we're not entirely sure what they're working on, but it sounds like a mode in its own right. It may well be the Battle Royale thing, this Tatanka mode, and it may even be standalone in Unreal if the rumors are true that it's changing engine. That's right, like, we have no idea. They have a whole team spun up working on this thing, and we know nothing. So it's just a very weird place to be in with this whole thing at the minute.
We'll try and stay positive. We'll wait for Troy's book. Come on.
Yes, I'm always down for a new book and more lore, and then we will have Kelly's book as well. So I'm down for more didact stuff too. So that gives me a bit of stuff to talk about and get enthusiastic over.
Damn straight.
Right. Will I roll us through the little bit of Evolved Digest we have?
Yeah, do. There's probably some of it you can skip. But,
right. So. Yeah, I have blanked a few things out. So first up, we have Podcast Evolved with Infinite Impressions. So our last Infinite Impressions was episode 299. That was on Echoes Within. We were previewing that. I think at some point we might have an episode like chatting about our thoughts as the season's gone on. So we will get that. I actually have no idea what our next Infinite Impressions is going to be, because we have run through the list for so far this year. We were kind of hoping to get a bit more stuff. I'd imagine it could be the Fractures lore for this season. I was hoping we'd have something before then, but whatever way it goes is whatever way it goes. We don't really have much else at the minute to chat about unless they drop something, so stay tuned for that. The last episode of Builds with Blocks was released within the last week or two, I believe, and it is State of Mega, a follow-up discussion from the guys, so you can go and find that over on the YouTube. With the Halo Book Club, the latest book club, hopefully it is out by the time this episode releases, because I have not edited it yet. We recorded it before I went on holidays, and the road to missing episodes is paved with good intentions. That's all I'm going to say. So the latest episode will be the untitled Fracture story from the end, the one about the didact. And the next book club is going to be Vertical Umbrage, and that's that short story they released on Waypoint. There are 2, possibly 3 of those, I believe. So we will be covering those one after the other. Next up, we have HCS Pro Talk. So Josh and Will discuss the latest information within the competitive Halo scene, with an emphasis on community every week. They have recorded us an episode, so this will be the March wrap-up of all things HCS, and you will get to listen to that now. Thank you, Josh and Will, for Thank you, Josh and Will, for this month's Inside the HCS. Watch their show live every Monday night, 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Central, twitch.tv/HCS Pro Talk, and follow them on YouTube and your favourite podcast feed of choice. That is all of our Evolved Digest stuff. Mission Debrief will probably never be back if we don't get any more campaign stuff. I have to be honest. If they don't give us anything, we can't do anything.
It might be done. We have a co-op idea we want to kind of put out. That's about it. But that's still in the works.
Yeah, that's a bit... Yep, if they don't give us more game stuff, we have nothing. And the Halo TV Plus is still currently on hold until the next season of the TV show drops. So we will get back to you with that when it happens. Right, do you want to take us home? I don't think we've got anything else. It's a short and sweet episode this week.
Yeah, that's kind of it. We're all done and dusted. Good to be back. Got some news in there. Halo still lives, even if people are dropping like flies. But we're still here. We'll still be putting out some kind of content. So thank you all for joining us. Look at me to stop the show. Find every episode and all our shows on evolved.com. Evolvedhalo.com, I should say. Also halopodcast.com. All of our feeds are there for you. All of our shows are in like separate feeds as well, so we have all different kind of choices. Go check out our patreon.com/Halo Podcast Evolved to learn more. Thanks again to our patrons. We have exclusive podcasts like we mentioned for our patrons called I Would Have Been Your Podcast. And finally, if you want to leave us a voicemail about this episode or more, do anything Halo related, give us a call, 205 Evolve. That's 205-386-5833. There you go. With that, I have not been your host because that's my Aaron. But until next time, evolved.
Evolved.